Welcome to this year's OPSEU SEFPO convention. Convention is where members make big decisions about the future of the union, and we do it together. It's not always easy. How do more than 2,000 people decide anything without it all turning into chaos and confusion? And how do they do it without wasting a lot of time? The answer is simple: rules. At OPSEU SEFPO, we use a modified version of Robert's Rules of Order to make sure convention runs as smoothly as possible. As you take your seat on convention floor with other members from your region, something you will notice right away is that for each region, there are microphones that have big signs that say pro and con. There's a separate set of mics for alternates and observers. Alternates and observers can speak on the floor, but only delegates can move items and vote. So let's say a resolution or a constitutional amendment is on the floor. If you have something to say about it, this is the time to make your voice heard. Do you support this motion? Go to the pro mic in your region. Do you oppose this motion? Go to the con mic in your region. Now, be aware, you may have to wait in line. You're probably not the only one with an opinion. The chair of convention up at the front will recognize speakers when it is their turn, making sure that both pro and con voices get a chance to speak. At some point, the chair will get to you. The first thing you will say at the mic is your name and your local number. You may also want to give your pronouns. Then, you should say whether you support the motion or oppose it. You have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak, start to finish. This is your moment, so make it good. At some point, the debate will end, either because there are no speakers at the mics or because someone calls for closure. Closure means the delegates are ready to stop debating and start voting. If 2/3 of the delegates vote for closure, debate ends and they vote on the resolution itself. Votes used to be decided by a show of hands. These days, we use our phones and a special app. It's easy. Now, as a delegate, you might like a particular motion, but think it needs some fine-tuning. For some items, like the convention agenda or the budget, delegates can move amendments from the floor. To do this, go to the mic, and when the chair recognizes you, say, "I'd like to move an amendment," and then explain what it is. Before you get to the mic, though, write down your amendment. Use plain language so everyone understands it. You'll need a friend to second your amendment, so have them check it over too. Moving an amendment will pause debate on the main motion until delegates decide if they like your changes or not. After they've debated and voted on your amendment, convention then goes back to debating the main motion with any changes. If you're debating a resolution or a constitutional amendment, there's a special process to change it. Instead of moving an amendment, you go to the mic and say, "I'd like to move referral of the resolution or constitutional amendment to the committee with instructions." And then you say what you want them to change. If your referral passes, it will go back to the committee, who will work on the resolution and bring the changed language back to convention, if there's time. Another thing you'll notice about convention debates is that sometimes there are interruptions. You'll be listening to a debate and suddenly someone will yell, "Order!" or "Privilege!" or "Point of information!" If it's a point of order, the delegate believes that the rules of debate are not being followed properly. If it's a point of privilege, the delegate is pointing out something that is interfering with people's ability to participate in the meeting. For example, it could be that they find the room is too hot, or too cold, or too noisy, or that the captioning or voting systems are not working properly. A point of information usually comes up when a delegate wants to ask for clarification of the rules of the debate or to ask for some information they need to be able to cast their vote. No matter which point is being made, the chair decides how it will be handled. For a point of order, the chair will either agree or disagree with the delegate and adjust the way the debate is being handled, or continue the debate unchanged. For a point of privilege, the chair will usually just ask the room to quiet down, or ask staff to turn up the heat or turn it down, or otherwise fix the problem. Sometimes, though, the chair will say, "That's not a privilege," and then just continue the debate. For a point of information, the chair will usually just answer the question. With points of order, it sometimes happens that a delegate disagrees with the chair's ruling. If that happens and they have a seconder, they can say, "Challenge the chair." In that case, the challenger and the chair state their views on the matter and it goes to a vote immediately. Usually the question is, will the decision of the chair be upheld? If the majority of delegates vote yes, proceedings continue as they were before the challenge was stated. If the majority of delegates vote no, the proceedings are adjusted to take into account the challenger's original point. Now that you know how debates work, you might be wondering, where do resolutions come from? The answer to that is pretty straightforward. They come from the membership. Resolutions and constitutional amendments may be submitted by any OPSEU-SEFPO local, area council, division, or provincial equity committee. They may also be submitted by the executive board or the executive of the retired members division. In a typical year, locals and other bodies submit dozens and dozens of resolutions. Somebody has to sort through them, and that's why we have a Constitution Committee and a Resolutions Committee. The Constitution and Resolutions Committees are democratically elected by delegates at regional meetings in the spring. These committees examine all the resolutions submitted. Sometimes they might combine similar resolutions into a single resolution, clarify wording, or do other fine-tuning. Then, each committee puts together a report of all its resolutions for convention. The two committees also decide the order in which resolutions and constitutional amendments will be debated on convention floor. It takes a simple majority, 50% plus 1, to pass a regular resolution. It takes a 2/3 majority of voting delegates to pass a change to the OPSEU-SEFPO Constitution. Over time, both Robert's Rules and the OPSEU-SEFPO Constitution have evolved to deal with lots of different situations that can arise. If you're at convention and you're not sure what's going on, ask someone. You might not realize it at first, but if you're on the convention floor, you're sitting very close to dozens of people who know the rules of order upside down and backwards. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The point of having rules is to make sure we have a fair and orderly way for delegates to have their voices heard and make decisions about the future of our union. That's why we have convention. To learn more about the rules of parliamentary procedure, visit www.opseu.org/rules and enjoy the debates.